Hi everyone. In this video, I will demonstrate that how we can get some rich and better search experience on our records that are in our Business Central tables with the help of some external search tool. In this case, going to be Elasticsearch. And yeah, we are also going to analyze that search with use of some KQL. So hence, we have Kibana in place. Okay, so hypothetically, what is going to happen that I will try to search something in Business Central, and that search will get refined in or queried in the Elasticsearch. I'll say search engine for a minute, and I'll explain you how indexes and everything is performed. And yeah, we can use Kibana in between to analyze the data and how we can get some better outputs and how we can analyze and discover your information. All right, so before we start, let me just quickly do a introduction about myself. I'm Rishabh Shukla. I am currently working with Dolly Technologies as a managing consultant. And yeah, that's my Git profile. I try to upload my devs when that I do on a public domain with on the repository. So yeah, feel free to go in and browse and fork the branch if needed. Apart from that, I also have my own blog. So yeah, I upload my videos here as well as I have my own YouTube channel as well on which I publish all these videos over there. All right, so yeah, I mean that's mostly part of my introduction. Now, let me first show you what I am exactly trying to say, and then I will try to demonstrate the thing how I technically did that. Okay, so in a typical nav search button that you have on the top, or maybe that you see in the filters. If I type a name here or I type a value here, like let's say if I type here Nash, so it's going to give me this value because it's going to search this Nash over here, right? Pretty good. Or if I type furniture, I'll get this. Or if I type a partial text like furnishing, right? I'll get this. But the thing is that it's still a cool search. I will not say it's not a good search, but on the other hand, it will give me records based on this current table only. What if that if I want to search the value of a string into more than one tables, or I'll say into more than one data points. Okay, so now I'll come back here, and in here I will say I would like to take a look at my foreign customers. So it's a customer search page. I just created a custom page, very simple, nothing fancy. Just a small control add-in. You can add a text box over here, right? So I just type foreign. So I want to have a look at my foreign customers. There they are, their orders and their invoices, right? Similarly, I want to take a look at my domestic customers. These are my customers. They are my orders, and that's my invoices, right? Now it's up to you. You want to add some functionality, you can click on it. It will open a card page for them. I mean, that's totally up to you. Now, the whole criteria of understanding this or me making this video is that whenever I type something, it sends the information to a search engine, which is a Elasticsearch search engine. And I will show you that how Elasticsearch has that information. But whenever the search is happening, I'm not exactly searching the records in the customer table or in the order table or in the invoices table. Typically, when you do this development without using any additional search engine, you have to do the filtering itself in the record table, which will be a massive call because these are wildcard searches, right? And needless to say, wildcard searches are comparatively very, very costly when it comes to performance, right? So instead of doing that searches directly into the main databases, what we can do is we can share our data points to a search engine. In my case, it's Elasticsearch. You can use a SQL full text search as well. We can send our data points to search engines like this. They index that information to themselves, and whenever you send a string to them, they are going to give you an output. Now they don't really care about the business logic or anything. They will just give you the extracted output based on the data points. So in my case, I must have shared, and I will show you that what information I shared in detail when I walk you through the code. So in my case, I have shared the posting group of the customer, right? And as a parent parameter of object attribute of the customer, when I was sharing the information, I also told them for Canon customer, its posting group is domestic and related orders are these, or it can be maybe for Fairway Sound as well. Okay. Now what happens is when I send them domestic, it will give me any relevant output from that indexed search, which has the attribute as or the data point as domestic. Okay. Now it's a very fine-tuned search, and let me now take you back how I did that. Let's now go behind the curtains and try to understand what happens. Now, a few things that you need to understand before starting this. That's the Elasticsearch website, and first things first, it's also something which is already in the market, used on several places. I was just going through the site, and let me just I'm not sure if I can show you here. Yeah, you can see the list of users who are using this. A few days back I was also looking Microsoft here, uh, and also I mean if you take few examples more, Netflix, they're also a prime user of Elasticsearch. Okay, so first things first, you go to the Elasticsearch website, you download this Elasticsearch. You can host it on the cloud. You can buy a VM, or you can host it there as well. That's, or you can take Azure support from Elasticsearch as well. Usually, I don't quote me on this. The tool is available online. It's kind of a free tool, but on a storage point of view, it's I'm not entirely sure whether it's free or not. So I will leave it up to you guys on how you can use them. But yeah, for you can always host it locally. I did that, and it didn't cost me anything. Right. So that's one thing. You go to Elasticsearch, download Elasticsearch, and then you also look for Kibana. So nothing fancy. In the Elasticsearch URL, just type slash Kibana, Kibana, and yeah, that should be it. Once you have that search, you have to scroll down, and you can just see this. Yeah, right here. You have to download Kibana. Okay. Now, once you have them both downloaded, the next step would be, and let me just show you what I'm trying to say here. I have pasted it on my E drive. So first things first, if I go to, yeah, Elasticsearch, it will give you a zip folder or a zip file. Just extract it. Okay, so we'll get the some files and folders here. Similarly, you will get that information for Kibana as well. Now, to run this whole logic in your local laptop or your local environment, you have to host Kibana and Elasticsearch. It can work without hosting Kibana as well, but I will say use that, because at some point you will definitely need Kibana to analyze your search pattern or your index pattern to test the output before implementing it on the on Business Central or any other application, right? So how do we do that? So in your DOS, I've already hosted it, so I will just show you how I did that. So just go to DOS, and first things first, you have to locate yourself to the bin folder. Okay, so just do this, copy, CD. You have to go to E drive first, CD. Okay, now in this you have to call Kibana dot batch. So once you have this, press enter. It is going to take a while, but after some time, it will give you a search like this. Okay, so you can see Kibana is running on my machine. Now, once you have that, you have to do similar thing for uh, Elasticsearch. So I go back and I say Elasticsearch 14.0 bin copy cd drive. Now in this I'll say elasticsearch.batch. You press enter and you will have another DOS screen which will show you that Elasticsearch is running. So it takes a while, and when I say a while, maybe a minute or two. Okay. Now, once you have that, go back to your browser and look for localhost. Mm, yeah, there it is. Look for localhost. I will say 5601 slash app slash Kibana. Okay, it's already opened here, but yeah, if you want to just get the idea how I did that, so that's actually the way. So it means that Kibana is loaded on my local environment. Okay, so if you see this window, then yeah, you're good to go. Okay, now typically Kibana gets hosted on the 5601 port, and Elasticsearch gets hosted on 9200 port. Okay, so now let's understand what I did here, and I'll give you an example before I perform anything. Okay, so let's do it this way. So let's say I have an organization in which I have some employees. Okay, and I would like to generate some data points to them. Okay, so I will say I have one employee whose name is Rishabh. Um, I'll say age, right? In this case would be 31, and then I'll say gender, male, right? Simple data, right? So this could be one record, right? This could be record for one table which has let's say name, age, and gender as fields, right? And now I can just simply say this time this could be Ravi, right? This could be, I don't know, Geeta, female, right? So these can be the number of records. Mm, there you go. Right? So the first thing is that we need to create an index for creating this search. Okay. And guys, there are APIs available for doing all this, and that is why I'm saying it's the best way of doing the search. No, uh, query or a select statement or anything that you have to be expert of. You know APIs, you are going to be very useful with Kibana in just a limited span of time. So first things first, we need to create an index. So when I say index, it means that we need to create a database within our search engine. Okay. So in my case, my search would be organization, for example, or let's say yeah, organization is fine. Okay. Now I'll show it to you via Postman. But yeah, I will also show you how I did that in Al with my customer search. So first things first, that will be a put request. I'll just paste this, and when I do send, so now you can see here it says acknowledge true, shards acknowledge true, and the index is created with the name organization. Now while I'm doing this, I will also try to show you that what I'm doing in Kibana as well. Then that's why Kibana is going to be very useful for us. So in your Elasticsearch or Kibana localhost page, go for index patterns. Okay. Now in this, you have to create a new index pattern, and you can see here organization is coming now, right? So I will say I would like to create an index pattern for organization. So it has one name related to this, which is good. Just click on create index pattern, and let's just make it very simple for now. Now you can see here I have an index pattern. It doesn't have any values or anything with it. Okay, so now I will say, and just copied and everything to make the demo easier. So now I will say within organization, I would like to create a new table. So in this case, my table would be employee, right? And this will be a post method, and there will be a header definitely, which is content type application JSON. Now in the body, I will copy paste my first record in it. Okay. So, like I said, it's an API. You have to pass your information as JSON. So let's see. Do send. It says created, which is good. Now let me see what happened here. So now you can see it has some more parameters. I can see gender is here. I can see age is here. I can see name is here, right? And now it says because it has some record, it can say these parameters are searchable. What parameters are searchable, what are aggregatable. If there are some integer values, you can put some aggregate on it, right? So like I said, analyzing data with the help of Kibana is also very essential. It's just not the string search, you can also get aggregated value. It also does machine learning, but that's a story for a different day. Okay, so if you want to change anything, let's say you don't want to do a search with gender, go here, edit it, make some changes here, and it's going to be non-searchable, or any other change. If you want to add a field apart from this, click here, add that field, and that field will be added in your search criteria. Or you can always go back and do it with your Postman or the API. Okay. Now let's see the data. I'll go here and discover. Now once you do discover, you have to give the index name on which you want to run your search. So you can see right now I have one hit. One hit says that I have this record. Now let's do one thing. I will just push these records one by one, and let's say this, and then I will say push this. Right now, let's see what happened. Oh, so now I actually had to make that search blank. So now you can see it has 3 hits, obviously. Now this is where it's very important to understand. You can see every record here and has an ID, right? And that's because when I send the record to Kibana or send the information to Kibana, Kibana gives me an ID in return. What it means is for Kibana, that's the uniqueness of this record. Now, if I try to send this information again to Kibana, it's going to give me a new ID. If I go here, Kibana will just tell me that now I have 4 hits, right? Because Kibana doesn't know anything about the logic of the record. So that's very important to understand. So if I say employee slash, I don't know, let's say um, Raju, and I'll say Raju 45 male. Now that's the ID of the record. Okay. Now if I go back here and I press this, now it will say I have 5 hits, right? Which is okay. Now if I try to hit this record again, it will not say create, it will say okay, and I will get the same record. And if I go back here, it should still show me 5 hits. See, 5 hits, right? Now that's where it gets interesting. So you have to ensure that Kibana doesn't apply any business logic if you are not giving it to them. So it's very important that if you want to create a uniqueness and you don't send the same record again and again, just ensure that whenever you're sending any information to Kibana to Elasticsearch, then you apply indexes or an ID for that record. Okay. Now, so this is one thing. Now let's see what happens if I wanted to search anything. So in a general sense, I'm definitely going to use APIs for this. But in this case, let me try to search something. So first things first, I will search for female. So now female has 2 hits, definitely, because I tried to send the same record twice, right? Now I will say 31 male, right? So it gives me 31 from here because it's a male, and it also gives me record from MSN, from Raju, because it has a attribute as male, right? Now, uh, how can I do the same thing using my Postman? Because right now I'm using it with KQL. Okay, that's your Kibana query language, right? So let's see. First things first, I'll try to search with my name. So what happens here, and again, you don't have to put too much mind on that. Once you do a search, click on inspect, then here's your request. Okay, now you don't have to copy the whole request, just copy it from the part of query. Okay, and just in case if you want to understand, here's your response. Okay, so that's why I'm saying Kibana is going to be very useful for you when you start using Elasticsearch. So let's come back, and now I am going to take a example that how you can do a search on any existing scenario. So now I will say I want to search something in organization. Okay, and there will be one header, application JSON. Now in the body, I might have to copy that information again. So I have to copy it from query and just before highlights. Okay, everything else is not that essential, but yeah, if you have a good grasp on the product, feel free to do that. Okay, I will paste it here, and just to make it proper JSON, you have to add one more curly braces in the beginning and at the end. Beautify. Okay, I think we are good to go. So in this case, I'm typing, giving my search as Rishabh. So that's going to be my search text. So now you can see I have a JSON which gives me the record. So it says I have max score hits, and there's going to be information. So it says I have an index which is having a type. So in type, like I said, you under organization database, you have created let's say a table for employee, and under employee you have the source, and this could be your source. Now let's try to change the search, and this time we will make it as 31. So let's see what do we have now. So now you can see source. We have one here as my name, and then we have another source with Ravi, and then we have another source with Geeta, right? We don't have, and needless to say, another duplicate record with Geeta, right? Now we will search Raju. So you can see I did search it with the name, I did search it with the, attribute. I'm getting outputs from the system, right? So this is something that we get from Elasticsearch, and you can see as of now, the moment I uh, terminate my DOS commands here, Kibana and Elasticsearch is going to be out of service. But if I run them again, I will get the output again. Okay, that's because Elasticsearch works on a NoSQL database concept, and that is very important to understand. I mean, it's very useful. You're not basically, and it's a scalable database, right? The more you give information to it, it's get better and better for the system, right? So let's understand how I did the whole thing in Business Central, in my example. So with Business Central, there was no rocket science, to be honest. In my on open page, the first thing I did is that I created a put request by sending kind of pointing to this URL, right? And in my case, the record name was customer search. Now, this is very important to understand that how we are going to push the data to Elasticsearch. And for that, I will recommend not to push data on a batch basis or on a job queue basis. Use webhooks. So with the help of webhooks in Business Central, we already have webhooks available in so many places. Use webhooks so that whenever you update anything on the customer record, vendor record, or any other record, it informs the API, and then the API fetch the actual customer and send it to Elasticsearch, right? So logically, this is how it is supposed to be done. But in my case, what I did, because I just wanted to do the quick demo. So in at the place of on open, I just created this index, and I loop through my customer record. And this is where it gets interesting a little bit. So you can see here I'm sending posting group, record ID, table ID. I'll tell you why I did send all this information. I was using it for giving a better user experience in Business Central itself. So you can see here I've sent customer posting group, and that's the reason why when I type foreign or I type domestic, it gives me an output. Okay. Now, with this, I'm also sending a JSON array. Now, like I said, the structure of JSON is not definitive. It just takes the JSON as an input. Whatever information you're going to send in a proper JSON, it indexes it. It basically, takes that as a data points for its input. Okay. So with this customer, I said I have some orders. So if I go here, I said look through the sales header table, right? Get the order number, get the you know table ID, record ID, page ID. I'll give you the reason why I use that on a later stage. Then do the same thing for invoices, right? So once I have one JSON object having all this information, send this to Elasticsearch. So like I said, in my second request, the post message, right? I said customer search slash customer. That's my table name. Customer search was my index, and I want to send this information here, right? So this is basically going to send all the information to Elasticsearch. And let me just quickly show you my Elasticsearch for customer. So if I type here foreign, press enter. So yeah, there you can see foreign has these many appearances. And let me just quickly show you the structure of my JSON file. Right? So it has this many informations, and then yeah, every information is being indexed separately. You can see here how calculatively it's storing that information to the system, right? And let me show you one which has an order as well. Mm, Let me type one with Canon because yeah. So if I go to this JSON, you can see here I have sent this information. So from source tag, it's basically the information that we are sending. Okay. Uh, then we have orders, order one, order two, order three. Then we have invoices, right? So even if I try to, take a search with this record or this value, it will still give me output on this. You can see here now it says 22.8, right? In a similar way, if I try to do the same search on my Business Central environment, Oops, sorry. So if I go customer search, I know Navigate does the same thing, but on the other hand, so if I say this, so it gives me relevant output to this information. Okay. So if you wonder that why I'm getting all these other documents, because these documents are linked to this customers, right? Hence, I'm also getting the other documents as well at the same time related to Canon Group. Okay, and you can see I only get information related to Canon Group and its orders and its invoices. I mean, you can always fine tune this thing. Okay, we have when you get the response from Elasticsearch, you will or KQL, you will see that it also gives you a score. If I go to inspect, if you see a response here, so you will get the maximum score. For now it's coming 0 for some reason, but yeah, you can, based on that scoring, you can get the idea that how relevant your experience is. So you can read the whole JSON, get the relevant output, and based on the score you can show the information in the front end. Again, you're not touching the business central database at this point. Okay, so like I said, let's understand the impact at the same time. I mean, giving a better search to your Business Central users, it's going to be very helpful, especially in the e-commerce industry. They take a web order number, they try to search it everywhere, and I've seen in petroleum industry as well. They take the trip number and try to search it across the deliveries and everything and the documents. So yeah, in those cases, it's going to be very useful tool. So let me just quickly finish off how the search is working on Business Central. So in the search box, that's the control add-in. So once you type something, it basically calls the pass value. I mean, again, take any other example if you want to. I just created one very simple. So yeah, that's the function which is actually doing the game. This record is practically a temporary table, so I just deleted it. And at this point, I'm sending a post request. Okay, and I get the response from here at this line 184. And then in this function, I'm reading the response by its values. I'm taking the heads and going through the records one by one and creating records into the table. Okay. So yeah, and the reason why I kept record ID and page ID in the data points is because whenever someone clicks on the drill down, I take that data point because I've sent that information back to them. So I take that data point and I try to open that particular page based on the record ID I have on the page. Okay. Again, this part is not that important with respect to understanding of Kibana and Elasticsearch, but in a long run, you can understand the implication, right? You can run it for an item, right? You can run it for an item with the search for the name or by its attributes, right? You can, or by its unit of measurements, right? So if, let's say, if I type 60 cm leather, then it should give me uh, the item for Paris sofa or something which is in Kronos, right? So in this way, you can enhance the search experience for the user. Also, you can do it by compromising the performance of Business Central. Okay. So yeah, guys, that's about it. And I hope this video helped you in understanding the Kibana and Elasticsearch, and you can probably utilize it into your with your customers if needed. Thank you for your time.